What's up, Taiwan? I'm Yvonne with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. The military says it's on high alert after China held live-fire military exercises near the Taiwan Straits this morning. H Nia has been following the drills and brings us this update.
China has wrapped up its latest iteration of live-fire exercises in the Taiwan Strait. The drills were just off the coast of the country near Nieh Island, are actually one of the closest Chinese islands to Taiwan, just 125 kilometers away from the main island of Taiwan. China's Maritime and Safety Administration closed some of the waters near the area and told vessels to avoid the area during the drill. In terms of size, these drills are not the largest, but it's the timing of the drill that's really grabbed a lot of the attention. The exercises come just a week after China conducted large-scale drills simulating a blockade of Taiwan. The exercises also come just 2 days after the U.S. and Canada sailed guided missile destroyers through the Taiwan Strait. Beijing does not like when foreign militaries operate in the Taiwan Strait, as it believes that this body of water, as well as Taiwan as a whole, is part of its own territory. Taiwan's defense ministry says it's deployed the military to monitor the situation and learn what exactly is China practicing. Taiwan is also getting ready to conduct live-fire exercises in the Taiwan Strait, with planned live-fire tank and missile drills planned for Penghu on Thursday. Taiwan's military says that its military exercises are more of a demonstration of its capability, saying that it's willing to do everything it can to defend its borders. Devin Tai and H Nia in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's main opposition party is calling for the government to be clearer on its civil defense plans. As Rick Lauer reports, how to manage the threat posed by neighboring China is causing social and political rifts in Taiwan.
Here at Taiwan's legislature, the government's big plan for civil defense is coming under fire. President Lai Ching-te recently launched the Whole of Society Defense Resilience Committee. It's designed to prepare the country for potential natural disasters like typhoons and earthquakes, but also a potential attack from China, which claims Taiwan and has recently increased threats to take by force. The government here says the country must be prepared to defend itself. It has boosted defense spending, extended conscription, and rolled out civil defense programs. But the country's main opposition group, the Kuomintang or KMT, say the government's plan is going too far, militarizing society and instilling fear of war.
国人都在问，战争是不是已经要来临了？要不然为什么要这样全民皆兵哦？民进党执政之后3不5时的呢，就挑衅，而且让两岸的关系越来越紧张。
Opposition legislators point to recent controversy over high school students being asked to volunteer for the Youth Service Corps. They say parents were concerned that their children could be sent to the front line. But the government said the Youth Service Corps has no military role. It's not unusual for opposition lawmakers like these to attack the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, particularly when it comes to China and defense. The Kuomintang believes in closer ties with Beijing and accuses the ruling Democratic Progressive Party of stoking tensions across the strait. What sort of relationship Taipei should have with Beijing and how to face the China threat splits society and politics here. Opposition lawmakers are now calling on the government to be clearer about what role it expects Taiwanese citizens to play in the event of war. Joseph Wu and Rick Lauert in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
A former Taipei kindergarten teacher is facing fresh charges of sexual abuse. The teacher already faces 28 years in prison for over 200 offenses against 6 different children. But an investigation by a high court has uncovered 39 new victims. The prosecution believes there may be over 100 victims and is calling for a heavy sentence. The author Hualing Nieh Engle has died at the age of 99. Nieh was born in China and moved to Taiwan after the Chinese Civil War. She became the literary editor of the Free China Journal, which was closed in 1960 over criticism of Taiwan's leader Chiang Kai-shek. Nieh moved to the United States, where she founded the University of Iowa's International Writing Program. The program offered residencies to writers from all over the world. Nieh won multiple awards for her work, including the American Book Award in 1990 for the English translation of her novel Mulberry and Peach. Nieh's work included novels, short stories, essays, and literary translations. Taiwan's export orders increased more than 7% from August to September, marking the 7th month of growth in a row. It's also the 3rd highest September on record. The Ministry of Economic Affairs says orders for the month reached nearly $54 billion, 4.6% higher than the same month last year. Demand for new technologies like AI and high-performance computing is driving the growth. Analysts say the upward trend is likely to continue into October. Kamala Harris is looking to make history as the U.S.'s first female president as she looks to tackle a variety of topics such as the Middle East, the economy, and Taiwan. In part 2 of our series, Defending Taiwan, we take a look at what a potential Harris administration could mean for Taiwan's security.
2 years ago, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris and then Taiwan Vice President Nieh met for the first time in Honduras. Fast forward to 2024, and Nieh is now president, and the U.S. is preparing to elect a new leader, with Kamala Harris the Democratic contender. But what would a Harris administration mean for Taiwan's defense, as the U.S. is Taiwan's largest provider of weapons, military advisors, and equipment? Here's what she told the U.S. show 60 Minutes when asked what the U.S. would do if Taiwan was attacked by China.
Listen, we need to make sure that we maintain a one China policy, but that includes supporting Taiwan's ability to defend itself.
These comments are consistent with U.S. policy, acknowledging Beijing's claims on Taiwan without recognizing it, while at the same time maintaining a friendly, unofficial relationship with Taipei. The question now is whether Kamala Harris could bring something new to the table in terms of Taiwan's security if she wins the presidency. To answer that, TaiwanPlus traveled to the U.S. Pennsylvania is seen as a key battleground state in the upcoming U.S. presidential election. And here in Philadelphia, members of Taiwan's ruling Democratic Progressive Party, as well as other political parties from Taiwan, are meeting here with U.S. defense officials to discuss the future of security cooperation with the next U.S. administration. At the annual U.S. Taiwan Defense Industry Conference, we met Iris Shaw, the newly appointed director of the DPP's Washington, D.C. office.
Coming back as the head of the office, you get to feel like this is sort of the homecoming.
Even though she's only held the post for a few months, she's got almost a decade of experience facilitating unofficial ties between the U.S. and Taiwan. And she says she doesn't expect anything new with the potential Harris administration.
I could attest to the fact that all of the robust bilateral engagements from the Trump administration to the Biden administration have been a lot of consistencies. We are nothing but confident that whoever the American people choose in November, the robust and bipartisan support and engagement for both countries will continue.
But analysts here at the conference are highlighting what could be a game-changing tool for the next administration. In recent years, the U.S. has come up with a new way to provide for Taiwan's defense. President Biden is the first U.S. president to use Presidential Drawdown Authority, or PDA, to expedite and send military equipment to Taiwan. This is a presidential order and one of the fastest ways to give defense aid, as these weapons come from existing U.S. stockpiles. If Harris wins, she could continue providing defense aid to Taiwan in this way. That's compared with how Trump led his Taiwan policy as president, securing more arms sales to Taiwan than any other administration.
She'll be the first president to come into office with these existing things. There will not need to be a congressional fight. If there is a fight with Congress, it'll be over numbers and figures, not over the authorities. So I don't know how she will utilize them, but she has new tools that I hope she will continue to utilize.
And it's not just about giving Taiwan weapons, as Harris has been particularly active as vice president in engaging with countries in Asia and representing the U.S., touring a Coast Guard in the Philippines, meeting with foreign representatives in Singapore, and attending the funeral of Japan's late Prime Minister Abe Shinzo. It's these kinds of relationships that could help Taiwan garner support from the international community.
Biden has a good relationship with Kishida. I expect Harris will continue to have a good relationship with whatever happens in Tokyo. She already has the Philippines in line. So I think that this is good for Taiwan, that having a coalescence of U.S. allies that know and trust a potential Democratic president.
When it comes to Kamala Harris and her Taiwan policy, analysts use the word consistency. They're expecting the same level of aid and engagement from a possible Harris administration as they did under Biden. Andy Strait and H Nia in Washington, D.C. for TaiwanPlus.
Authorities say an infectious disease called Melioidosis has killed at least 9 monkeys at a zoo in Hong Kong in the past week. 2 more monkeys died over the weekend, bringing the total to 11. Tests show the first 9 monkeys to die had the bacteria that causes melioidosis in their organs. Authorities say the bacteria likely came from soil near their habitat. The mammal section of the zoo has been closed for disinfection. Member states of BRICS are set to meet in Russia. The group has come a long way since its inception and has branded itself as a leader of the Global South, with new members set to take part in the summit for the first time. To learn more about what to expect from the meeting, our reporter Adele Brar spoke to Eric Olander of the China Global South Project in Ho Chi Minh City.
What's the significance of the latest BRICS summit that's set to get underway in Russia's Kazan?
Well, first and foremost, I think the fact that it's happening in the same 7-day week period as the IMF World Bank spring meetings provides a fascinating contrast now between an adolescent development finance organization and one that's in its 80th year. And so we're really going to see the contrast in how Global South countries and this coalition of countries at the BRICS have a very different vision for how to manage the global economic order than what we're going to hear out of Washington. So the key question now is going to be, can BRICS transition into something? Because again, this doesn't have a lot of shape to it. It's very heavy on symbolism.
Several countries have expressed interest in formally joining BRICS. What will the expansion of BRICS mean for the grouping?
We don't know if the expansion is going to be something good for BRICS because already we're starting to see some of the growing pains in BRICS. The BRICS could not issue a joint statement out of the foreign ministers' meetings on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly, in part because Ethiopia and Egypt could not agree on backing South Africa for a permanent seat on the UN Security Council. We've started to see more countries say, you know what, the BRICS is not for me. Algeria, Kazakhstan, Indonesia have all said, this isn't going to be for me. There's going to be a lot of evaluation from new members as to whether or not the BRICS becomes ideological, that is an anti-Western organization. And given the fact that China, Iran, and Russia are all members of it, there is a good chance that it could become much more ideological.
What topics do you expect BRICS to tackle going forward?
So the most important thing right now, and what the BRICS has served up until now, is a venue for countries to have a collective frustration with the way that the U.S. and European international order is led. They don't like it. They don't like a dollar-led economy. They don't like a lot of what they perceive as to be gross hypocrisy from the West. That is, monetary policy tightening in developing countries is the tonic that should be done, but at the same time, printing money in U.S. and Europe and Japan was what they do. And they see constant hypocrisies in the way that the system is run, and they feel that it is inherently unjust and unfair.
That was Eric Olander with the China Global South Project. Peru's former president Alejandro Toledo has been sentenced to more than 20 years behind bars for taking bribes. Toledo was convicted of accepting $35 million from a Brazilian construction firm while he was president between 2001 and 2006. In exchange, the firm won a contract to build a highway connecting the 2 South American countries. It's Peru's first high-profile conviction in a massive international corruption scandal. The investigation also led to the arrest and conviction of Brazilian President Lula da Silva, though his conviction was later annulled. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more of our stories. Finally, check out this concert in Sweden featuring the first joint performance between a symphony orchestra and a machine. I'm Yvonne Yang. Take care, and I'll see you next time.